Today we're going to be doing a burst fade on a huge transformation. I've got my boy Max right here. We're cutting off all this and sculpting it into a beautiful burst fade. So come with me, I'm going to teach you guys the exact steps. Let's do it. Because our client wants it more to the medium end, we want to keep in mind of how much we're cutting off. Grab all this hair, tie it to about that much, and we're going to be cutting this off to make it more manageable.
My heart's beating a bit.
Yeah, it's time, man. Oh, boom, dude.
See you later.
Oh my God, you can hold it, bro. Look at that, bro. 9 years. After wetting the hair, I'm going to do a horseshoe section at the top, combing all this down, separating the top, clip in here, bang. See how it starts to round off here? I'm going to continue that point down, right? And where it starts to like become closer to the back, I'm going to section the back to show and do that burst fade on the side. All right. When it comes to doing long hair, it can be very, very overwhelming because there's so much hair there. But if you section the hair right, you are able to cut it in a clean way. So that's why sectioning is so important when you're doing very big chops like this. I know that all this hair now is I'm going to use for my fading process of the burst fade. I'm going to grab my flat comb with my debulking clippers, using that to debulk the sides, scooping in and just taking that off right there. And I'm being mindful of this bed right here that I'm creating. Do you see this line right here that I've created? That is what has enabled me to create the shape of the burst fade. Angling this in the shape that I want the burst fade to be. And all these right here, I'm going to take as well, because all this is a part of the fade. Just combing that and refining this weight line, okay? So this weight line is very important when it comes to having shape in the haircut. Now I'm only going to fade up to there. So now with my next step, I'm going to do my first guideline right here. So watch where I put my first guideline. Just where that neckline starts to curve. This allows us to not take this burst fade high. Because he has like longer hair on the top, we want to make sure that we don't make a disconnected look. Come in now with my one guard, slap that on open, doing a guideline right where his eyebrow stops. I'm literally only creating about under an inch. As soon as I've got my first guideline right there, I'm going to come in with the 2 guard, always starting open, flicking out at that 1.5 line that we created. The 2.5 is not going to fade it, but it's going to soften that to make it easier for us to take it off. If you notice here, what I'm doing here is I'm fading down now. Once I've created my foundation 1.5, I'm going to fade down. So everything from the 2.5 and down, I'm going to start fading down. Now I'm going to close it, soften that line out even further. Once I've softened out this line, I'm going to come in with the one guard again, take off the remainder of that line that we created first, right? Because whenever we put in a guideline, whatever guard you use, whatever clipper you use, you have to use that same guard to take out that line. Now, as you can see, that 1.5 line is fully gone. See, I'm fading down. I went from a 2.5 to a 2, working down all the way to a 1.5, taking this off, open, doing my next guideline right here. I'm fading up now. You know how we didn't create a first guide line down here? We're using the open blade to make that guide now. Instead of using the first guide line to wrap all the way around, we risk this back area going too back into the mullet at the back, okay? Using the 0.5 open will allow you to have a nice gradient without pushing it back. Before I move on to my fading process, I always line up the canvas first with my trimmer. It's the sharpest trimmer I have. I'm always gonna start at right angles, meaning like very horizontal. So that's my first point right there. Do my second point down here. By doing 2 points, it allows me to see where I want to curve it without pushing him back. What I often see way too many times what barbers do is that this C-cup looks really, really straight. You want it to have a nice curvature without pushing him back. Now that I've got the C-cup now, I'm going to come in with the vertical bar, and I'm only going to do slightly, just a little bit, keeping it natural while staying clean. See how once I line that up, it really allows me to see where all the dark spots are now. Makes it very easy for us to detail when we line it up first. I'm going to do the same thing for the back. Line up at his neckline. So I'm just going to do a straight line, okay? Going straight line, and then we can connect them two, right? Same principle to how I did the C-cup, okay? I'm gonna start at 1 right here. We want to cut it to right where the hair starts to grow. I understand that by lifting the hair up and looking at the growth pattern. And see right now, it looks real weird because it's just like a box. To create that nice curve, we're going to connect them together and round this off, right? So I'm gonna round this off like right here. And I only wanna tap lightly because the neck area is one of the most sensitive parts of a haircut. That is my lineup. And as you can see now that I've lined everything up, just makes everything look so much more clear to look at and allows us to really fade it in nice and detailed way. To take out this line right here, coming with the half guard, open it fully and then one close. I'm gonna take it off by using our corners now, listening to the hair being cut. Pay attention to how I'm angling my clipper. Pretend like this is his head, right? And this is how I'm angling it, right? This blade right here is detailing it, and then this up here is fading, right? So it's literally going like this. And that's exactly what I'm doing here. Last step of this fading process, I'm gonna come in close and then take out my last guard line right here. Before we move on to our shear work on the top, a lot of barbers can do blurry fades, but what about connecting the blurry fade to the top? So with those steps right there, we've created a canvas on the side for the side to connect into the top. This is what it was looking like before. Right, through our debulking and through our fading process, it enables us to create that canvas and template before we do the shear work. So to start this shear work process, I'm going to section the back and the top. This enables us to only cut the top at one section and the back at one section. Use our clips to separate the two and make our life easier. Bang. Now we can focus just on the top. I'm gonna start at the front first. I'm going to section the front just like this. Bang, comb all that hairs down in like a triangle shape. So if you look right here, you can see that there's a triangle. You see that? One going here, one going here, one in the middle. So my client in the consultation process told me that he wants it just above his eyebrows, right? Let it spring naturally and cut it to where his eyebrows is. So one snip, boom. Right there, that will be our guide for the rest. So I'm just only going to snip it literally where his eyebrows are. And I have that natural spring because the spring goes up. So we want to account for that as well. And as you can see here, his hair is naturally splitting because of his growth pattern and maybe because he's been tying up his hair for a while, as well as a calic right here. So that is my guide now. I'm going to pull it down to see how it's looking. So see that? It's still straight and it has a natural like texture towards it. Now I'm going to section the middle of his head just like this, right? A middle section. Now we're going to connect that fade into the shear work on the top. Over directing all this hair on the side over here, match it to that weight line under here. You see that? That right there is the side weight line. So I simply cut right there. And it doesn't matter if it has a little bit of disconnection, that is totally fine. Continuing that all the way to the front. Right, and you see here now is where it starts to connect to the front. These 2 points, boom, boom, connect those two. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a gauge now. See right here, there's a little bit of disconnection. I'm going to connect that further by using a little bit of scissor over comb. So I'm going to come in and just take that right there. So this allows it to have this nice, softer finish. Now I'm going to create a profile section right in the middle, right there, boom, boom. One on the other side, boom. This right here, we grab this and right where the hair starts to frail off like there, that will be our length of our haircut. We match it towards the front. So I continue that same line as my shear work guideline. Continue that, point cut it. Because his hair is real straight, we want to create more texture, continuing that all the way down. And that right there is our guide for the whole head, okay? As you can pull it out, you will see that it has this shape right here. To continue this, grab horizontal sections now from the crown. That's my first horizontal panel. This panel right here, grab this, cut right there. Continuing the same panel, and I'm cutting it to where the profile section is. Right there is the profile section. Continuing this all the way until we get to the front. Now we've done the overall shear work, we're going to create some more texture now because his hair is real straight. Our first texturizing process is I'm going to do some cross slicing by starting at the back area and just half closing my shears to create some inconsistencies and break that bluntness out of his hair. But at the front, I'm going to be real careful to not take a lot off. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing to this side. When the blade comes together, right? So that's where I want it to cut. Do a light, very light. When you get to the front, you wanna make sure you don't wanna cut too much. My next texturizing point is using the feather razor, right? This feather razor allows you, see how there's like inconsistency? There's like, it's not a full straight razor. What we're gonna do is we're gonna comb all the hairs down and we're gonna do a nice surface level texture. right? And now, once we've done that, so I'm going to do a horizontal section right here, like this, and then a horizontal section, working my way all the way to the front. This enables you to texturize it to the root of the hair. See how right here, he has this calic? There's less hair here, right? So we want to even it out a little bit, take those points and make it a bit more matching to the front, as well as creating texture, making it easy for him to style. The easier you make it for your client, the more they will value your service. With this back area, I'm going to comb all the way down, and I'm just gonna make a guide roughly here. I don't want it too long. He wants it shorter than the top. So I'm just gonna go right here, and I'm taking really like strong point cutting sections. And this is just to debulk everything. So now I'm going to do a middle section, right? And then comb that all the way to this side. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this length right here to down here. I'm going to comb this up like this. Where it starts to frail off, that's where I'm going to cut. Do point cutting right there. Connecting that to the top portion of the cut. Boom, now I'm gonna have a look right there, that length I'm real happy with. We don't want it touching this too much. Now I'm going to do a profile section, just like how I did with the top. I'm going to create that one vertical panel right here. This right here is the length that we have on the top. If we wanted to match that exactly the same length, we've cut it here. But because my client wants it a little bit shorter, so we go just a bit under. All right, now that we continue that same section all the way down, point cutting to create that nice texture all the way down until I reach this point. Now that I've got this one panel right here, I'm going to continue that same vertical panel to the neighboring side, take that whole section with that vertical profile section. If I grab both those two panels, I will see that this right here is my guide. So I'm going to just take that. That is our shear work done. Now I'm gonna do the same texturizing process I did with the top, and I'm only half closing it. On the top, we only do 3 to 4 slices. At the back, you can always do like 5, so you can do more because you really want that back really nice and textured. Same thing with the texturizing razor, horizontal section. Boom, same thing all the way down. We're going to dry his hair. To use a diffuser, put my fingers in and then scrunch. I have it hovering just about 5 to 10 centimeters away. And with the front here, what I'm doing is I'm grabbing it and then pulling it up, and I'm literally roughing it up while I'm using the diffuser. I'm gonna be using some clay, right? This will allow us to have that texture without drying out the hair, okay? So sometimes using something like sea salt spray and texturizing powder, it dries out the hair. So I'm literally grabbing it in my hands until I see nothing, right? The reason why we do this is so then we can have an even spread, and roughing it up. During the day, it's gonna fall back down. So you really want it to really be exaggerated, and naturally it will just go down to where you want it, okay? And just like that, we are done.